Hello friends. Today we will discuss about the techniques of planning an interview. Now we all know that interview is something for which all the people plan. They have to face a day. If you are looking for a job, you have to face a day on which you have to sit for your interview. It could be your first interview, it could be your second interview, it could be your third interview. If you are a professional, if you are looking for a job, you have to go and sit for an interview. So interview is something for which people do plan. The first thing which a person need to understand is to make his resume or CV. Now, the very first thing we will be discussing about these two terms, resume and CV, in detail in my upcoming videos. But right now, I am just giving you the techniques or the tricks to face an interview. So the best thing is, then the first thing is, you have to prepare your resume very carefully, and you must prepare it in a fashion where you can list the questions what they can ask you during an interview. Then you have to be very clear about your needs and requirement, what they can ask you, how they can ask you, and what kind of questions can come up during your interview. You must remember to speak up very clearly and with confidence. Then second important thing is to establish a rapport with the interviewer. Like, you have to be very confident, you have to establish yourself, you have to feel him or her, you have to let them feel him or her very comfortable. Not only you have to feel comfortable while giving an interview, but you have to make sure that you make the other person who is taking up your interview even comfortable to ask you questions. Then you must remember, ask question at times. Like, people do ask question at time, and when you have to answer that question, you must speak very clearly. And if you have any confusion, if you have any problem in understanding the question of the interviewer, then being an interviewee, you can always ask them to repeat themselves. You can always ask them to repeat themselves. You can ask them to say the question again in order to avoid confusion or any kind of ambiguity. You must understand that not only you have to speak clearly, but you have to repeat the things if it's necessary. You must understand that interviewer do most of the talking, and they just encourage people to talk with them freely. So it is something you must remember. The interviewer, when I say the word interviewer, the one who is taking interview, and interviewee, the one who is given interview. People often get confused. One of my students asked me while I was teaching physically in my class. So you must remember that interviewer is the one who is taking the interview, and interviewee is the one who is giving the interview. So what happens, a interviewer do the most of the talking in order to encourage the interviewee to speak freely and to feel comfortable. So this is important. Then you must guide the interview according to your plan. So you must know the time, you know the situation, you know the conditions, you are even aware what kind of job is required. So you need to plan out the thing, you need to guide out the things before you go sit for an interview. Then you must understand कि readjust your questions to make use of answers. Okay, so if you have any question, you must readjust your questions. You must try to understand the questions and you must answer accordingly. You must answer them after getting the questions correctly. You must remember when you are giving an interview, people do make an observation. They make an observation about your personality, about your communication skills, about your body language, and they try to assess the candidate in every possible way. So they just want to hear from you the best thing, okay, which can give them an idea about you. So the interviewer wants the best of you. So you just have to speak. Your communication skills do makes an impact. You have to speak freely, you have to be very confident, but you don't have to speak for a long period of time. Okay, you just have to make sure that your answer should be short and uh, within the time period. You don't have to go in too much of detail, you don't have to do a lot of show off, but you must remember that whatever you say, in whatever time period you will be saying this, you must give your best to the person who is taking your interview. So don't be high flown, okay, avoid high flows. Like people started showing off, they're starting speaking a lot about themselves. So you just have to avoid this high flow terms. You don't have to make any personal comment. Like if you like something or if you dislike something, you don't have to make a personal comment for anything. You have to be very very freely answering the questions without talking too much about your things. And you must remember that people want to know about you as a person. They want to know your name, they want to know your qualification, they want to know your age, your profession, your aim in life, what you wish to do. Okay, but they are not interested in knowing about your social circle, about your social background, about your parental background. No, they are not interested. They are more interested in knowing you as a person. And then you must remember that after finishing up your interview, do not forget to say thank you, because thank you is something the person is giving you time, you are taking their time. So you must use this word thank you. You must express thank you to the person who has taken up your interview. So here are a few important tips we have talked about. This is not all, of course there is much more to be discussed, but as you know ki my idea of these videos is to discuss one thing at a time, and I am doing it. So you can always write back me, you can always put your comments forward. If you want anything else to discuss, we can do that in my next video. So thank you for being there. Live English with Dr. Swati. Please do share my videos and don't forget to press the bell icon for the next upcoming videos. Thank you.